According to reports, the so-called normal Republicans in the House of Representatives, the normal ones, of course, being the ones who are fine with being evil privately, not necessarily publicly, right? They don't wear their bigotry on their sleeve. It still exists, but they don't broadcast it for everybody. Those are the normal Republicans, the traditional ones. But anyway, those Republicans, according to reports, are growing more and more pissed off about the lunatic Republicans who have, of course, usurped the power in the House of Representatives, and they're using that power to launch nothing but failed investigations into, well, everything. Whether it's their investigations into the fact checkers at universities or, the investigation into the Manhattan District Attorney where Jim Jordan gets slapped around, the investigation into the weaponization of the FBI that, is basically shown us that they have no evidence to back anything up, the investigation into Twitter where that kind of blew up in their faces, and of course their investigations into Hunter and Joe Biden, which have produced exactly nothing worthy of even talking about. In fact, it's gotten so bad that even conservative media outlets have attacked these House Republicans and said to their faces, "You've given us nothing, you've wasted our time." But now the normal Republicans, again, go back to my definition of normal Republicans, they're getting angry. Paul Ryan, who of course is no longer in the House of Representatives, but his former aide, Brendan Buck, recently spoke to MSNBC, and this is what he said. "I feel for Kevin McCarthy. A not insignificant part of the job of being Speaker is stopping your members from doing something politically dumb. And that's clearly what is going on here. But the reality is, House members are losing patience with a lot of these investigations. That's because they rushed out right after the election and said that pretty plainly that Joe Biden is part of some corruption deal with his son. In fact, Jim Jordan and James Comer, the two-party chairman, came out and said they have direct evidence that Joe Biden was part of some schemes with his overseas dealings. Of course, 6 months later, we've not seen any of that. So at some point, your members get tired, lose patience, and they want to see action. That's what came to a head with Representative Lauren Boebert. Kevin McCarthy has put that to bed, but I wouldn't be surprised if that doesn't bring itself back up in the not-too-distant future. Let me go ahead and correct you there, Mr. Buck. Kevin McCarthy did not, in fact, put that to bed. So I don't know what you've been watching, but that is not at all what happened. Boebert openly defied Kevin McCarthy twice when he said, "Come to the meeting on Tuesday and explain your case." And he said, "Okay, we'll come back on Wednesday and explain it," after she didn't show up Tuesday. Then, of course, she didn't show up on Wednesday. So I don't know what you're talking about McCarthy putting this to bed. McCarthy got his ass handed to him by Lauren Boebert. And, of course, she made a big fool of herself and pissed off the Republicans even more. But I like his statement, politically dumb. Because according to the polling data, most Americans view these investigations being conducted by these Republicans as politically motivated. So even as Republicans try to say that, the government's been weaponized against their political enemies, the public's like, yeah, it has, but you're the ones doing that. So the public isn't buying this crap. The conservative media isn't buying this crap anymore. And now their own members in the House aren't buying this crap. But unfortunately for those normal Republicans, Kevin McCarthy gave up all of his power to the crazies in order to become Speaker, so there's nothing you can do about it other than stomp your feet and get real mad and watch as your approval ratings bottom out because the public lost their patience a long time ago. You might be losing it now, but the public was pretty much done with this by February. Thanks for watching, everyone, and well, here comes the awkward part at the end of the video where I ask you to like, comment, and share, and subscribe for more content from Ring of Fire. Also, you should consider becoming a member for some exclusive content and perks, including early access videos and exclusive videos. Check out the link in the description.